Hi, hello, Anrie. So you're the mother of the current world champion
Anna,
in
yeah.
the girls
Yeah.
section, Anna. Yeah. So tell me something about you and your children.
Anna's my eldest child, my daughter. She's 14 years old.
Okay.
And I also have a son, Jack, he's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Jack he's severely disabled, has cerebral palsy and
Yeah.
epilepsy. Anna has other disabilities. She has some learning disabilities, processing issues, main problems with social understanding, and so she's borderline autistic.
Yeah. And you've got your son as well.
Yeah, my son is
Yeah.
in a wheelchair and needs 24-hour care. Unfortunately, the trip was too big for him to come on, so he's back at home
All
at the
right.
moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does your son plays any sport?
Yeah, my son, when he can, he likes to go swimming. His sport, whenever he does sport, he requires full support, so he needs an assistant to work with him.
All right. So when they both got diagnosed with the intellectual disability, at what age was it?
Anna was 3 years old, and it was around about the same time because my son was born. My son's brain injury is because of his birth, and Anna was tested at the age of 3. So my son was shortly after my son was born was when they said that they thought Anna had some issues as well. So it was around the same time.
All right. Okay. So after knowing that both your children had intellectual impairment, how did it affect your personal life and your social life? Did anyone uh, say anything? How were the reaction of your relatives and friends?
Life changed completely. It's had a massive both the children having disabilities has had a big impact on my husband and I. We've had to change our life completely, and obviously with my son requiring 24-hour care, and we've also had to have a lot of battles to get the things that my son needs, and also we've had battles with regarding Anna's disabilities as well.
All right. Okay. And after Anna took part in sports, did you
Yeah.
see any changes in her behavior or any
Yeah,
improvement in her personality?
Yeah, at first Anna tried a variety of sports, and at one point we weren't sure because she went to ballet and she did various musical theatre, dance, but we weren't sure because Anna had difficulties with the social interaction. But then we stuck with it, and they said they were seeing big improvements. We had to basically, it became a regimental process. We dealt with how Anna did sport, and it was all structured. And then one day when she was 8, she picked up a tennis racket and started playing, and people were asking her if she'd played it before, and she hadn't. And so it just went from there, and she really started to enjoy it.
Yeah. And do you think there is a change in her personality? Did she
Yeah.
improve her personality,
Yeah,
her confidence and all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the sport, she had physical problems, and she was given a program of physio. So the sport has helped Anna to overcome a lot of her physical issues,
Yeah.
and just made her stronger. And the tennis and the sport has built Anna's confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
Without the sport, she wouldn't have that because she finds school quite difficult, and academically she's got dyslexia, so academically she struggles, but with the sport she feels she has a lot more confidence.
Yeah. Do you feel like after taking up sports, she has improved in her academics than before?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit, because she still has a lot of issues with concentration, focus, how things are explained to her. So all these things also are the same for the academic side of things, with clear instructions, focus and concentration and so on.
Yeah. All right. And how do you feel about the sporting events, for example, the INES games? What is the importance of these events in Anna's life?
In Anna's life, oh, obviously for Anna, it's a big. She's really privileged to be picked, and she's the only female player with the GB team, and it means a lot to Anna. And then obviously the confidence she'll gain from playing and then becoming the world champion helps Anna greatly and improves her self-esteem.
Yeah. And do you feel like in the society there's still a misconcept, or I will say confusion between the concept of mental illness and intellectual impairment?
Yeah, because Anna plays. Anna has an adult rating, and she plays mainstream tennis, and she also qualified to play for INAS. So there has been in Anna's tennis career. There's been a lot of issues in terms of Anna's vulnerability, which has resulted in a lot of bad attitudes towards Anna, and a lot of discrimination and bullying type behaviour. And that's difficult for Anna to deal with because she doesn't always understand the social interaction and with peers and people the same age.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been, but I think with INAS and other events taking place, there's hopefully a greater awareness of people with different disabilities.
Yeah. So as a parent, you have seen two children with intellectual impairment,
Yeah.
and you have seen how sports have changed their life.
Yeah.
So how would you, what would you say to other parents who are having intellectual impairment?
I would say to if your child's good at sport, to pursue it, to stick with it. It really does make, and apart from the fact that you're getting physical exercise and you're looking after your body, it helps you with it helps with some of the issues surrounding the disability. So it helps with your focus, concentration, improves your strength, and I would say it's a really good thing to do.
Yeah. All right. And one last question. What do you feel like the physically disabled people or the physically disabled athletes are more easily accepted by the society than the intellectually impaired ones?
No, personally, because my son's got a physical disability, I'm finding actually now in some ways that there's a lot more progress made in the intellectual field, and there's less facilities for actual people with physical disabilities. So sometimes I go along to events and they'll say it's for disabled people, but there's no physical access, or there's no wheelchair access and so on. So I think at the moment it's probably there's more available in terms of intellectual disabilities.
Okay, because like the other people I've interviewed, they were like kind of yes, they get an upper hand because the physically disabled ones have a visible disability, whereas
there is that because
Yeah.
because my children, one of my children is physically
Yes.
severely disabled, and Anna it has intellectual disability.
Yeah.
I can see both sides.
Yes.
And my son's ability to play sport is less anyway than Anna's, but there's still a lot more problems. There's a lot of barriers, but there are also barriers for people with intellectual disabilities as well.
Yeah.
In comparison to people who don't have any disabilities at all.
Okay. All right. And what would you like to say to the other intellectually impaired athletes?
To say to them,
Yeah.
I think they should just continue with their passion, continue if they enjoy a sport, to continue with that, and obviously, like Anna, you can become a world champion in your area if you stick with it.
Yeah, and Anna, she's the world champion
Yeah.
of this year, and this was her first world championship,
Yeah,
and she won it. How do you think it will change her life now?
I think Anna, because she's still very young, she's only 14, so obviously this is a big boost for Anna to win gold medal and to represent her country. So it's a big achievement for Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.